For more than 100 years, the center of Melrose has been the Church of St. Mary.
The church is Melrose.
Tonight, the town's faith was tested.
It's like you can't believe it's happening.
Shortly before 5 this evening, witnesses saw fire and smoke coming from the old Catholic church.
When I got here, there was fire spewing out of the west side of the sacristy windows.
Carol Moorman is the editor of the Melrose Beacon.
I was baptized here.
As well as a member of the church, she, like so many others, watched in disbelief as firefighters from all over the area doused St. Mary's well-known steeples with water, trying to get the blaze under control.
It was sad to see, and we just to stop and pray that everybody is safe.
Nobody got hurt.
Not as much can be said for the church, dripping tonight with memories.
Every Sunday morning I pick up my mom and I take her to church here. We sit in the same pew.
Now a journalist is forced to write a story she prays would have had a different ending.
Tomorrow when I write this story, how am I going to write it? You know, I'm going to write it with my heart, because a lot of our hearts are in this church.
On Rush Lake, there's no mistaking the dock, belonging to Jason Galvin.
A crisp flag in the breeze just rings freedom.
But this 4th of July weekend,
Very patriotic.
Jason has taken his patriotism to new heights. That's the Eagle's Nest at which Jason glanced yesterday as he was making a run for bait. But then this caught his eye, a young bald eagle hanging upside down from a rope.
Right then I thought, man, that just doesn't look good.
Turns out others had been watching the eagle with concern too for more than 2 days.
That's when we decided that we really need to make some calls.
Jason's wife called everyone she could think of, from the fire department to the DNR.
It was kind of one of those things where, what do we do? What can we do?
The eagle was just too high.
It's right up the road here.
He had jokingly said, well, we could try and shoot it down. I said, yep, that's what you're gonna do.
This is a Ruger 1022.
This might be a good time to show you this.
He knew what he was doing.
That's Jason on one of his 2 tours in Afghanistan.
He had told me that he was a veteran in the service and that he wouldn't do it if he couldn't do it safely.
Phil Mose gave the go,
Just held it like this.
and Jason started firing.
I saw him in the scope. He was looking at me.
I sat there with the binos. I was like, wow, he's an excellent shot.
150 times he fired.
It was slow, precise shots.
Jason cleared 3 branches,
But yeah, this is a pretty big branch.
Them gray stripes are from the bullets going through.
then down into the soft underbrush came the eagle as Jason shot through the rope.
There was a lot of tears. It was breathtaking. Like, it was a beautiful moment.
Jason kind of came to the rescue on it.
Officer Mose started the trip to the Raptor Center.
It rode in the front seat with me, and the whole time his head was up and he was alert.
4th of July, you know, that's our bird. I can't let it sit there.
Mission accomplished.
He fought for our freedom again yesterday.
Boyd Hooper, KARE 11 News, Rush City. Pretty, isn't it? Minnesota's great river road. But for the person you're about to meet, no view is complete without a truck.
Tons of steel and rubber rolling down the highway. It's beautiful.
Louise Spencer has clearly given this some thought.
All of them are not pretty, but most of them are to me.
The result of being married to her truck-driving late husband, Liam, and a lingering desire.
I can't think of anything else that I would want to do that I haven't done.
Now,
Okay,
a week shy of her 92nd birthday,
I'm ready to drive that truck.
Louise has a date.
35,000 pounds.
My mother's driving an 18-wheeler. Would you not go see your mother do that?
Hey. Tom Gierock will be Louise's instructor.
You do all right? So good to see you.
An old friend since yesterday when she first met him at the truck driving school at Minnesota State College Southeast in Winona.
Everything she's done has been spirited.
Brought up poor, then abandoned by her first husband to raise 4 young children on her own.
She worked all day. She was a dental assistant, and then she would come home at night and sew clothes for people to make extra money.
And now,
Always.
Good luck.
just 6 months removed from breast cancer and a mastectomy,
They put your name on the door of the truck.
Louise is kicking the bucket. List.
You got it.
I couldn't talk her out of wearing the tight jeans. I told her she didn't need to wear those. She'd never get in that truck.
Atta girl.
But she made it.
We're gonna go ahead and start it up. And then right out that way, dear.
That's a big truck. It's huge. And she just drove it off, just like no big deal.
We're gonna go straight back that way, Louise.
Louise stayed on the college's closed course,
Oh my goodness gracious.
driving the truck
Honk if you're 91.
like she's lived her life.
Keeping it between the ditches.
A little slower, Louise.
I forgot to tell you all I had a heavy foot.
For much of her life,
Good.
Louise has been carrying
Hard left.
more than her share of the load.
She did great.
Let's find the other one.
Honorary truck driver.
About time
I don't believe it.
she made it official. Boyd Hooper, KARE 11 News,
I'd like to take it home with me.
Winona. If the oldest and most popular attraction at Cedar Lake's Camp Lebanon is Cedar Lake
It's amazing.
itself,
Hey, Rachel.
then Sandy Abel
I'm 89
can't be far behind.
and a fourth.
She's just full of life. We love Sandy because she loves us.
Absolutely. You're precious.
She's wonderful.
My gift is hospitality.
Sandy has been a Camp Lebanon fixture for more than 50 years.
That bell is famous.
She's been a character
Yes.
all her life.
That was taken when I was a senior in high school. It's so indecent. I was kind of adventuresome. What's going to happen if I do?
A character who developed the character
Let freedom.
to do this.
89-year-old Sandy swimming from one side of Cedar Lake to the other.
You heard that right.
This is Abler. He's going to be swimming across the lake. Yeah!
Nearly half a mile across Morrison County's Cedar Lake.
Sandy, Sandy.
And at the age of 89, Sandy
Thank you, honey.
is going to swim it.
I know I wouldn't.
I wouldn't even try.
But then Sandy Abel
He's loosening me up.
is not just loosely motivated.
She's doing it for the scholarship fund to raise funds for kids to come to camp.
The past 5 years, Sandy has raised enough money through pledges for nearly 300 camp scholarships. More than $28,000 to send kids to the camp her own kids attended.
Ready?
Yep.
One step. It's almost time.
Do you believe all those people up there cheering me on?
Go, Sandy! We love you!
Now,
Yeah!
nearly half a mile from camp, Sandy
Come join me.
is on her way back.
You're doing great, Mom.
Children and grandchildren surround her, all accustomed
Hey, Mom, doesn't that sunshine feel good?
to a strong woman
Oh, yeah.
setting their pace.
Nobody told her that she couldn't be 89 and swim across the lake.
We're over halfway now.
A Bible camp, well aware of Sandy's favorite Bible verse.
Camera.
I can do all things through Christ who gives me the strength to do it.
Philippians 4:13. Sandy Abel, 89 and a fourth. She swam the distance in just over half an hour.
I made it.
But Sandy
I made it.
has been making a difference
The first year we came was a scholarship due to you.
all her life.
God bless you. You made a huge difference in our families' lives.
That's what makes the difference.
That's why you keep swimming, girl.
Sure as Cedar Lake will be here next year,
Everybody smile!
not a camper among them would bet against Sandy.
All right, now everyone say go, Grandma!
Boyd Hooper, KARE 11 News, Morrison County.
One more year. One more year. One more year.
Funny story about this story. Set in the Twin Cities.
Supposed to be 90 today, isn't it?
During a steamy summer week.
Any minute.
When much anticipated visitors
Where did they get this stuff?
left Africa like this.
Winter coat and gloves and a hat.
I'm laughing hysterically at 3 in the morning and looking at this picture of them with snowmobile suits on.
Funny story about these bundled boys, topped only.
Here we go.
By the heartwarming one.
Fidel.
Hospice.
The story that starts in a place they didn't know exists.
There's some things you just know you have to do. I've sort of been called to do this.
That's optician Gary Tonsiker on a mission bringing glasses to impoverished people in the African nation of Benin, where 6 years ago he was paired with interpreter Fernando Antonin.
Yeah, exactly.
Turns out Gary likes to talk baseball.
Right. Yep. All of this started from that.
And a seed was planted in a man who hadn't a T-ball's worth of experience with America's pastime.
Okay, good job. Yep. Just want to try something new.
Just like the neighborhood boys, Fernando recruited. Fernando learned baseball watching YouTube clips, then shared his new knowledge. As 120 Benin boys were outfitted with donated Minnesota gear collected by Gary and his high school buddy, Wally Langfellow.
It's very rewarding.
Yet, that baseball field.
There's puddles, there's ruts, there's holes, there's soccer balls hitting them in the head.
Hospice.
But now, after 4 years of fundraising by Wally and Gary, a dozen 11 and 12-year-olds will spend 2 weeks in Robbinsdale playing on fields beyond their dreams and more.
First time they've ever been on a train. First time they were ever on a plane.
And first time they've watched the game. They've been practicing.
Oh, no.
These kids have been just locked in the whole time.
First ever baseball game.
And all of this before they made it through their first full Minnesota day.
We told them we were going to play on a plastic field. They couldn't believe it.
It's not just baseball anymore. It's changing lives.
This is the song the children learned for Gary and Wally when the Minnesotans visited Benin.
Yep, we're going to build it.
And this is the gift.
This is a artist rendering.
The friends are planning.
These are different angles of the field.
In return.
They need a place to play.
It's like a dream come true.
Hard not to believe that even better days are ahead when they consider how far baseball has taken them already.
Oh my goodness, good rip, Hospice.
Boyd Hooper, KARE 11 News, Robbinsdale.
Safe. Nice job, Hospice.
All right, boys, big game today, boys, big game. What are we gonna do? Win! What are we gonna do? Win! Who are we? Who are we?
In the last tournament of the season,
1, 2, 3!
Josh Carroll, the player leading this charge, leaves his worries at the locker room door. That's the ritual for the number 16 left and right wing player, Cottage Grove's own Miracle on Ice.
He's really tough, really tough.
Here, he's the keeper of his family's goals.
It melts my heart.
For what happens when he puts on those skates. For how he rebounds.
He said he wasn't feeling too hot.
For his Bantam-A team.
An hour ago, he's still in the hospital. Now he's here. Just amazing.
Right there, feet.
Josh doesn't flinch at the fight within.
Coach, who's going next?
Even when time now moves too fast. Just 2 days before, hockey.
Seeing that puck just go past, hit the net.
Is what drew Josh from his hospital bed.
I really shouldn't call them teammates. I should call them brothers, because they're like that to me. When I'm on the ice, I don't hurt anymore. It all goes away.
He spent much of his life at St. Paul Children's Hospital battling an immune deficiency disorder that attacks the body's major organs.
It feels like I'm breathing out of one lung sometimes.
A condition so rare, it doesn't have a name.
And I just broke down because I don't want any of this. I want my son. I want my son to live forever. I don't want to have to say goodbye to him.
When Josh was just 5, his parents learned a simple sneeze in the air could take his life.
It hasn't been an easy road, but we'll never give up.
No, and he'll never give up.
No.
I think hockey by far is what keeps him going, and
it's what has kept him alive this long. Guarantee it.
So a recent letter to the hockey community.
What is hockey?
Is the only way Katie Carrolls could share how the disease continues to penalize her son's body.
Josh's liver is significantly destroyed and our time is limited with our incredible son. So what is hockey to our family? Well, it is family. It's the sound of the Zamboni revving up its engines. It's the feel of skates hitting the fresh ice and sticks slapping the puck.
The thousands of teams moved by these words.
Illinois to New Jersey to California.
A junior team in Portland, Oregon.
Have now brought visits from the Minnesota Wild, even an opportunity to wear Herb Brooks' gold medal.
Why would you be down on yourself? There's people who have it worse than you. And, you know, I'm lucky I have such a great family.
The crowd's all inspired by a player of conviction.
It's got some sweat marks.
Who has found his answer in spite of a mystery disease.
We are walking through hell, but we get to see heaven like nobody else does, and that's in itself the biggest gift we could ever ask for.
You have to come out tonight, every shift, 110%. It's going to be another huge test.
To his coaches, Josh isn't just the secret to their winning season. He's a champion, everlasting.
This is our first tattoos for both of us. Still something to remember him for the rest of our life.
If a 15-year-old boy can have such a big heart and care about everyone else, why can't we? Why can't everyone?
Nice job, Josh.
Thank you. Love you.
Nice job, Josh.
Here, it is impossible to focus on a terminal diagnosis when Josh Carols gives the sport a never-ending love.
I heard a little bit, but I'll be ready for tomorrow.
Just 15 years old and already mastering the goal of a lifetime.
What is hockey? It is a game, a sport, and it is so much more.
In Cottage Grove, Lindsay Sievert.
Good game!
KARE 11 News.
Thank you.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. The poetry lies in the contrast in that gem of a quote from Muhammad Ali. Brawn and beauty, strength and style. Yet no one envisioned them actually dancing together as Element Boxing Gym sat 1.5 miles from the St. Paul Ballet, which, as fortune would have it, was losing its above the hardware store lease.
So it would have been July 2 years ago.
Lori Gleason, St. Paul Ballet's executive director,
Exactly.
looked at a dozen places to move her dancers before a real estate agent led her to an unlikely acquaintance.
The first time I met him, I was like, whoa. And then his name, Dalton Outlaw. It's like, I've never met a boxer before.
Which is okay.
Pause.
Because Dalton Outlaw
Yeah.
didn't know ballet.
Once you get to know people, it's different, you know.
And then it was like, this is the landlord.
We got along right away.
Which is how Element Boxing Gym and the St. Paul Ballet
Forward.
became that close.
Could either of you ever have imagined
No.
Nor could Dalton and Laura have imagined
Good morning.
this.
1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Those little bitty arms pack a punch.
The dancers of the St. Paul Ballet started boxing about the time Hairy Legs met Swan Lake.
Our thumbs are inside of our hands.
Strength, stamina.
1.
Let's point our toes.
The art of moving and controlling your body.
Dalton and Lori call it
1.
the ultimate
1, 2.
cross training.
Yes.
Another name comes to mind
Right leg front.
for Dalton's mom.
I would call it Beauty and the Beast.
A smile is okay.
You wouldn't think something like that would go together. And it does.
We're teaching them how to wrap their hands.
So much it does
It was just serendipitous.
that Zoe Henro, the St. Paul Ballet's artistic director, is creating a ballet about boxing
1, 2.
with plans to cast
Retiré 1.
the neighbors,
Go.
while Dalton is convinced it's only a matter of time
Sweaty.
until the dancers
Keep your boxing stance.
take their next step.
I can definitely foresee some of those women over here inside of that ring.
We happen to be doing ballet, they happen to be doing boxing. But what we really care about is just developing people.
Keep those hands up on your cheeks.
Did you ever picture yourself doing this?
No, I really didn't.
Yeah, you know, no. Actually, no, I never did.
1, 2.
Sting like a butterfly.
2.
Float
Don't hold your breath.
like a bee.
We need to breathe when we dance.
Score one for role reversals. Just don't forget in which room to curtsy.
Hard work.
Boyd Hooper, KARE 11 News,
Good work.
St. Paul. 1,400 hazy miles. That's the distance between Washington, D.C. and clarity. At least it was for Christopher Ingram, the Washington Post reporter who wrote an article mentioning Red Lake County, Minnesota, and stepped in it.
I stumbled across this data set that the USDA had put together 10 years ago.
Government data measuring scenery and climate, blue being good and brown being bad, which led Chris to write this.
The absolute worst place to live in America is, drum roll please, Red Lake County, Minnesota. Claim to fame, it is the only landlocked county in the United States that is surrounded by just 2 neighboring counties, according to the county website. That's it. That's all I said.
Which he soon learned was enough.
There's people up in arms in town.
It was almost immediate.
It was the talk of the town.
The word was this guy was an idiot.
On social media, Chris was shamed. Literally shamed.
People were starting hashtags.
We got to do something about this guy.
But Jason Brunwell, a local campground owner, took a different tack.
This is the email from Jason Brunwell.
Why don't you come out here and see it for yourself? We'd love to have you.
I thought it was some kind of trap.
Chris's wife, Brianna,
Realistically concerned for his safety.
couldn't have been more wrong.
So I drive up to the courthouse, and there's the color guard from the high school. Don't have to worry about pitchforks. Things are going to be okay.
Chris was introduced to Red Lake County's prettiest places and the nicest people, none of whom were prepared.
I didn't believe it.
When Chris announced a few weeks later he was moving here.
I read it like 3 times. I'm like, this can't be right.
Turns out Chris and Brianna had been in the midst of an East Coast quandary. The parents of twin boys had outgrown their tiny row house. At the same time, Brianna wanted badly to leave her government job to raise their children.
My mom was like, well, why didn't you think about going to that nice town that you visited just a few weeks ago? Wouldn't that be fun? Those people seem so nice.
I needed some convincing.
No convincing anymore. The house the Ingrams bought in Red Lake Falls has given them more than twice the space at half the price.
Sure.
Chris is still a data reporter for the Washington Post, but traded his hour-and-a-half commute for a basement office he shares with 2 bunnies.
Hi, Daddy.
While Jack and Charlie play down the hall.
Instead of a coffee break, I take a toddler break.
No more nanny.
Okay.
Red Lake County's lower cost of living allows Brianna
I don't know how we'd be able to do this.
to stay home with the boys.
My DC friends are probably like going to cocktail parties and whatnot right now, but yeah, I'm standing here with sugar beets and a corn shock and a whole pile of gourds.
The entire bounty given to them by the very people Chris insulted.
People just drop by to say hello. That doesn't happen on the East Coast. And people were stopping by to welcome us with baskets and walleye.
People really wanted to just say welcome and, we're glad to have you.
Okay, the move to Red Lake Falls did come with concessions.
Yeah, restaurants. Definitely missed the restaurants.
Sampling every eatery in town takes exactly breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yes, the water tower's over there.
But feast your eyes.
Jack, what's that over there?
On this.
Combine.
Reminds me of the ocean in many ways, just because it's so broad and vast, the farmlands. The sky is doing different things every single day.
The sky and the Ingrams.
I'm glad he came. He come to God's country.
Hey, right.
A week after they moved in, I felt like they were already part of the community.
Give me a big hug. Oh.
Good job.
Already enough a part of the culture.
Hold it good and tight to your cheek.
Chris bought a deer hunting license.
Every time somebody accuses me of being a fat East Coast liberal who's out of touch with, Midwestern values, I'll just send them the video of me shooting flames out of the end of this thing, and that should shut things up pretty good, I think.
And if that doesn't,
evidently it's some sort of explosive.
This should.
Oh man, that was awesome.
Little more than a year ago, Chris Ingram called Red Lake County America's worst place to live.
They're like family now.
No better case has ever been made.
Yeah, absolutely.
For dropping the data and dropping in.
You don't realize the hidden beauty that's really everywhere.
Boyd Hooper, KARE 11 News, Red Lake Falls.